Now let's try to create and use sequential access of data. We have here our application called sample IO, which contains a sample IO class with a main method. And in the main method, we're trying to um, ask the user to enter the data for the employees. Okay, first, we need the class scanner for allowing the user to enter the employee data. So for the scanner object, we will be using the input named object. And we need to import the package util. Um, then we will be asking the user for the file name first. Okay, so since we will be saving the data to the secondary storage, we need a file name to save the data. And here we have the prompt to please enter file name. Then after that, the file name will be stored to a certain variable, and we need to declare it here, named file name. And here, okay, it will store the file name being entered from the user. Then after getting the file name, we need to store the file name to the relative path. Okay, so relative path, it is where the program resides. So on the same folder, this file name will be created. And for that, we will be using the path class to create an input path object to get the path where file name will be passed as parameter. And we will be needing for the path, we will be needing the package NIO. Okay, then after declaring an object or instantiating an object of path, we need to convert the relative path to the absolute path. And for that, another object of path, okay, in this case, we have to um, convert it to the absolute path. That is, I mean, we need to use this one, okay, the relative path to the absolute path. Input path dot to absolute path. And after that, let's try to display the full path, okay, where to display the full path, we need the toString method. So full path dot toString. Then after that, we need to create a file and use the method get, where this full path will be passed as parameter. Okay. Full path dot toString. Now that our file is ready at a specific path, we can now create a record to be saved in a file. So first, we need to declare a string type for the record. Okay, so this will contain a line to which contains the data to be saved in a file, and this serves as one record. And this will be initially an empty string. And after that, we need the delimiter that will separate the data for each record. Like for each employee, the ID number, the name, and salary, for example, will be saved as one record per employee. And um, delimiter will be used. And we will be using the delimiter of a comma. So usually for the files, we will be using the comma separated file for the CSV file. Okay, so the comma will be used as delimiter. Then for each of the employee, we need to have the ID number, the name, and the rate. Okay, so for example, for the employee salary rate, like pay rate. And then in our program, we will be continually asking the user to enter the employee records and allow a sentinel value that will control the program. Okay, that if the user will enter the sentinel value, the program will be ended. or the program will stop asking the user to enter the employee's record. And for the sentinel value, we will be using the constant value of 999, for example, and the constant named quit and is 999. Okay, now we need to use the try catch operation. So upon creating the file using the output stream object, we have to put it on a try, okay, the try statement, and this will include the catch exception, which will display the message if there are some errors upon creating the file, for example, or upon manipulating the data to the file. So we try method will be used, and we have here, okay, we need to catch it, okay, with using the class exception and the reference variable e. Okay, so here for the exception, let's just try to display the message, the exception message. Okay, in the try block, first we need to create an output stream object, and let us say output object will be instantiated of buffered output stream. With the parameters um, the new output stream object will be used. New output stream with the path parameters and the create keyword. Okay, this will create an output um, object of output stream. Okay, and for the path, we need to use the full path being generated here and the option to create. Okay, now okay, we need to import the okay, we need to import the package um, the standard open option. Okay, since we need to open the um, file which belongs to the java.io. Okay, and we will be needing the standard open option. Okay, later we'll be needing the standard open option for the new input output file. Okay, so need to import it here. Um, NIO dot file dot the standard open option. Okay, and the wildcard character will be used so that all of the components of the standard option will be used in our program. And we need to have the static keyword between the import and the package name so that the method which belongs to the standard open operation, I mean the standard open option, will be used directly without using this class. Okay, so which enables using this create argument. So without this one, okay, without this static keyword of standard open option, we need to specify it here that standard open option dot create. Now, so we need to write the data. Okay, we need to write the data so the buffered writer will be used. Okay, buffered writer object will be used. Buffered writer output stream object. A output stream writer class will be used that, I mean, with the argument of this output stream object. Um, okay, so buffered writer. Okay, so wrong spelling writer with a double T here. Okay, remove the remaining T. Then, now we are ready to write the data to the output file, okay, using the output object. And here, okay, we can now ask the user to enter the employee ID number, for example. Okay, and we'll be storing it in the variable ID. And the scanner object is input will be used. And here, we will be using this ID value to evaluate. Okay, okay, so not equal to our sentinel value of 999. So which is the constant named tweet is being used. Okay, in all caps. And here, we'll be asking to enter the user's name. Their name for employee, employee number. Okay, concatenated with ID. And this one, we are going to store the name in a variable name. And here we have an extra next line here to flush the remaining characters that is in the memory, okay, that is in the buffer, since we will be using the next line method for the employee's name. So name equal to input dot next line. Then here, asking the user to enter the pay rate. Okay. And we're going to store the pay rate to the variable pay rate. Then, since we have already the data for the ID, name, and pay rate, okay, wait, let me check. Pay rate double, I mean the object input. Okay, we can this serve as one record. Okay, one employee or info for each of the employee having ID number, name, and pay rate is equivalent to one record. So we can format, for example, the ID to be added with the delimiter and added with the name, okay, and added with the delimiter and a comma, okay, delimiter which is a comma, and to be added with the pay rate. Okay, so for one record, we have ID number, comma, name, comma, and pay rate. And for one record, it will be written or if it will be written to the file. So the writer object will be used, okay, to write a record to the file. So we will be saying writer dot write with an argument of 3. Okay, so we have two options here for the write. Okay, we have three options here, and we'll be using this 3. Okay, the record, and the length. Okay, and for the record, we will be using this one. So each record will be put here, and For the integer, we'll be using 0. And for the third argument, we will be using the length of each record. Okay, then after that, we will um, we are going to write the this record to a new line. Okay, so advancing the cursor to a new line, we have the new line method here. Then after that, the we are asked to enter the ID number again. Okay, please enter ID number. And here, again, assigning the value to the ID variable int. Then this will repeatedly asked until the user will enter the sentinel value of 999. Then after which that the user will enter the sentinel value that will exit from this loop. So no more records to be saved in a file. So for that, we need to close the file. Okay. Let's try to save and run. Now we are asked to enter the file name. So for example, employees salary.txt. Okay. So from the relative um, path, it is being converted to the absolute path. So now it's expected that the file is being saved with a file name employee salary.txt under this folder name on where our program is located. Okay, now for the ID number, let us say 111. And name is Jezabel. And pay rate is 100. And for the second ID number, like 2, and the name is Delhi. And rate is 200. And for the third employee, say Anna, and a pay rate is 300. Okay, now I will be going to use the sentinel value of 999 to exit from the loop. And let's try to verify and open the file being created. Okay, it must be located, okay, in our program package. And here, and name is employees underscore salary.txt. So these are the records that are being recorded in this file. And these are the data being entered a while ago.